I am joined today by David Gilbert of the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission. How are you doing today, David?
Good, Mary Kay. Thank you. Hope you are too.
I understand that the NFL sent their events people to town last week and that you guys tried to finalize some plans and come up with some contingency plans. So tell us a little bit about that visit.
Well, they had an awful lot of people in town from the NFL, contractors, media folks. I think now, with COVID, the picture is becoming a little more clear as to what's going to happen with the draft here in Cleveland. It is going to be a live event. I think still a very sizable event. We're fortunate to have a great site, a great outdoor footprint, and so a lot of different groups around town. Really just dotting a lot of I's, crossing a lot of T's, although some things are still in flux because the pandemic continues to change on a daily basis.
In your view, at this moment, is it 100% still a go? Is the draft in Cleveland on?
Yeah, absolutely it is, 100%. I think that we've certainly been planning for that. We know it is going to happen. Over the coming weeks, still some details still being finalized. A lot of discussions between the NFL and the state and the city from a health perspective. A lot of those still need to be finalized, but it is absolutely a go, and it's going to be an incredibly exciting few days in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's tremendous. Now, when you talk about it still being a sizable event, tell us a little bit about that. What are you expecting?
Well, while we don't have any final numbers and expect a lot of those will be out in the next couple of weeks, but you think about, there's really two primary components to what the draft will be in Cleveland. First is the draft experience, a large, live, almost outdoor NFL playground that the NFL also puts together in a similar fashion with the Super Bowl. And we're very fortunate to have a very large outdoor footprint, as I mentioned. So you'll have the use of First Energy Stadium, particularly on the field, the whole area north of the stadium, and all the areas west in and around most of North Coast Harbor. So we're lucky to have this huge site that's very unique to Cleveland, will be great for the media, but also allows for healthy outdoor spaced environment. It's all free. They'll be utilizing some sort of time ticketing that they haven't done in the past, so you can monitor the numbers of people that are in the footprint. But that's going to be a great time. People will travel from all over the region, all over the country to take part. And then you have everything that's on the draft stage itself, which is the actual draft and concerts and other things. And the numbers around that are still being worked out, because it's a little different, that it's a lot of people, one place, one time, not moving. There's obviously a lot more to it than that behind the scenes, but in terms of what the public will be there to experience, to enjoy. And then of course, we're planning a lot of other things in and around, particularly downtown, of how this city looks, acts, and feels like a city that's geared up for one of the largest events in the country, other activities going on. So when people are not at the draft, they can still have a great time while they're here in Cleveland.
Oh, that's terrific. Now, how did Governor DeWines' recent easing of the restrictions for indoor and outdoor venues impact what you guys are trying to do?
It certainly helps. It's all tied together. And the NFL, the great thing is the NFL, they know how to do this. I think they put on very successfully an entire season. And so their health and safety people have been dealing directly with the state, the city as well. And so the state being very comfortable and allowing for what the NFL is proposing in Cleveland. But of course, as coronavirus, hopefully we are getting onto the back nine of it. It's all that easing from the state really does make a difference in terms of ultimately the numbers of people that will be allowed to be on site at different aspects of the draft.
And how did the Super Bowl help inform what can happen here in Cleveland?
It helped a lot, because it's the same group certainly that puts on the Super Bowl and everything around it, as well as the draft and everything around it. And so a lot, particularly with the whole NFL experience and how they utilize time ticketing. They took an event that usually doesn't have boundaries, so to speak, and they made sure it was all barricaded off, so there were particular entrances, and you could monitor the number of people that were in and out, and it was done very well, very successfully, in a very healthy way. And so, it was quite frankly, we looked at it as a great test run for what would happen in Cleveland. And of course, as the vaccines are more proliferated, all of that's going to help us too.
And even though you might not have the enormous numbers that you expected, why is a little bit of a smaller event okay?
In many ways, I really believe that the relative impact of the draft that we are going to have, maybe even larger than it might have been with an event that was much larger in terms of numbers of people, because of where we are in this pandemic. We still are planning for large groups of people to be traveling to Cleveland, all being done in a very healthy, safe, spaced atmosphere, especially now with more people getting vaccinated, and certainly masking and all that is going to be very much in force. But where our hotels, our restaurants, our retail that have suffered so much this past year, where they are and what these 3, 4, 5 days of incredible business will mean to them in terms of making it through to the other side of COVID may actually be even more impactful than it might otherwise have been. And at the end of the day, we're certainly choosing to look at what we are getting in Cleveland and not what we're not. This will likely be not only a huge coming out party for Cleveland, but maybe for the nation in terms of the first large live event in the country that is when I say post-pandemic, so the pandemic is with us and will be with us, but maybe post the worst of the pandemic. And of course, all this, doesn't exclude last year, 55 million people watched the draft around the US and around the world. And we expect those types of numbers for this year's draft. And all of that will be highlighting Cleveland for an enormous audience that isn't here in person, but we'll see Cleveland in a tremendous light. We are prepared and getting ready, been preparing for a long time to kick off a major marketing campaign around the region, and in some cases well outside of the region, knowing that this is a pilgrimage of sorts for NFL fans. And we are within an 8-hour drive of half of NFL markets. So you have incredible, passionate fans, not just here in Cleveland, who we think are probably the best and most passionate, but you still have great, passionate fans in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, on and on and on. And these are markets that will travel here.
Was there ever any thought to just, saying to the NFL, hey, look, let's let Cleveland do this 2 years from now when it can be everything we thought it was going to be originally?
No, we were in this from the beginning, and we were in this to be the best partner to the NFL that any city's ever been. That's our goal, that when they in this process and when they leave, we want them to say Cleveland was the best host city, whatever it may have looked like. So our goal all along was to be as great a partner as we could, whatever this would end up looking like.
And this is also an opportunity for Cleveland and for you to show the world that Cleveland is amazing at handling big, enormous, wonderful events like this, because there are plenty more coming up, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a relatively small universe of people who put on and own these large events. And there's no doubt that, the success of one helps lead to getting others, because, these folks know, whether it's the sports leagues or people in the Olympic world or NCAA, they know who the great hosts are. They know where they can be successful. And Cleveland is one of those cities, one of the top cities. And this draft it's one of the largest events in the country. And our ability to pull it off successfully, particularly in and around a pandemic, we hope will speak volumes for our ability to keep doing this over and over again.
And obviously the Browns are celebrating their 75th anniversary this year. How will the Browns be involved in this? How will they be showcased during the draft?
Well, yeah, they've been involved every step of the way. This has been an enormous team effort. Sports Commission, Browns, the city, lots of other partners in the community have all brought to the table what they do best. And the great thing is you have First Energy Stadium right in the footprint. So the Browns and their home are going to be visible to everybody who's here and everybody around the country and around the world. And even though there'll be fans of lots of teams, every team in the league, it's going to be Browns first and foremost. And I think that's going to show tremendously.